They're not fighting for their father, they're fighting for their survival.
Diddy's kids have finally reached their breaking point. After years of being controlled and mistreated, they're ready to walk away from their father for good. People close to the family say this has been building up for a long time. Jaguar Wright even predicted it, saying she saw it coming years ago and that Diddy is simply facing the consequences of what he's done.
These are children who not only are attached to all of this wealth and privilege, but now they're the children of the devil. It doesn't matter if they've done nothing wrong. They're all going to assume they know something, no matter what they do. They could sit on 1 million charities from here to now, and they will all be known as Diddy's children. That's just like being called Rosemary Baby. They're screwed. Nobody wants anything to do with that. And when it gets to that point, they just shun you. Like I said, what they gonna do? Open up a bunch of wing stops?
For years, Diddy's grip on his children went far beyond parenting. It was full-on control. His sons have even been mentioned in the disturbing lawsuits tied to him, meaning they weren't unaware of what was happening. When authorities raided Diddy's mansion, they reportedly found drugs, weapons, and even baby oil scattered around the place. His kids lived right there, watching everything: how he treated women, the parties, even the presence of underage guests. The big question everyone's asking is, why didn't they speak up? Jaguar Wright claims it's because they felt trapped. She says Diddy had built their world in such a way that they believed they had nowhere else to go.
When you're dealing with the kind of narcissistic control freak that Diddy is, and you raise children under that, the financial abuse for all of them is probably the worst. Because there's no way they can make money without him. He has them locked in. And if he falls, who's gonna hire them? Who's gonna fund them? Who's gonna look out for them? No one. Right. No one. They're not fighting for their father, they're fighting for their survival.
Both Christian and Justin have now been named in the sexual assault cases connected to Diddy. According to the allegations, they weren't just bystanders. They were there during the so-called freak-off parties and even helped Diddy bring in new victims. Jaguar Wright isn't holding back about any of this. She says living under someone as twisted as Diddy warped their sense of right and wrong. In her view, Justin and Quincy ended up shaped by Diddy's toxic world, believing that kind of behavior was normal because that's all they ever saw.
And I'll say it again, especially with what is happening with Kim's sons. I'm so grateful that she doesn't have to witness any of this. Because this probably would have killed her.
What's stopping?
Anyway, Christian under scrutiny, Quincy being mocked and scorned, the girls now being implicated into home in the essay with their father by a girl who worked the white parties. Like, this is a lot.
If Diddy goes down, his kids are going right down with him. Their entire lifestyle has always depended on his money and connections. And once that's gone, they have nothing left. None of them have managed to build solid careers on their own, and they all know it. That's why they've been standing by him no matter what. But now the truth is catching up fast. The shocking part isn't that Diddy had help, it's that one of the people helping him was his own son. That's the part that really disgusted everyone.
And they didn't choose it. They were born into this. I don't think anybody's paying attention to that. The choice they got. If that man calls and say, I need you to do this, I need you to do that, what else are they going to do? They gotta bet on him. I'm sure they're all praying he makes it, because if not, what are they going to do? And they definitely can't count on Grandma Janice. They're screwed. One way or the other, they're screwed.
So there's no escape for them.
How? Was there escape for OJ's children? Their daddy is the new OJ, and we already know he done it. Like OJ's kids went through hell, and there was reasonable doubt. We didn't see a video of him doing anything. We didn't see him running around in a towel with a knife, We seen that with the Dibbler.
One of the biggest reasons Diddy got off with a lighter sentence is because his children publicly defended him. During his sentencing, every one of them spoke up, asking the judge to give their father another chance. They pleaded for mercy, saying he deserved forgiveness. The judge thanked them for their words, saying he knew how difficult it must have been, and that he appreciated hearing it.
All 6 of Diddy's adult children went to the podium and addressed the court. First Quincy, then Justin, then Christian, saying their dad is their superhero, and although he has made mistakes, the man that stands before us today is a changed man. They say he is more patient and remorseful. Christian getting choked up as he spoke. But then his 18-year-old daughter Jessie went to the mic. As she sobbed, she begged the judge to give her dad a second chance, saying she lost her mom at a young age and already has experienced so many milestones without her dad. Her sisters, Delilah and Chance, echoing the same sentiment, all of them heavily sobbing into the mic, just saying, please give my dad a second chance. They too reiterating that he is a changed man and that his demeanor is much different. Diddy is only a few feet away from them. He moved his chair so that he could face the podium. He's not crying, but his head is heavy and his hands are in his lap. Delilah telling the judge that she knows what it's like to grow up without a parent, and she doesn't want this to happen to her 2-year-old sister, Love. She says every night the toddler asks where her dad is. She then asked the judge to give her dad a second chance, not as a headline, but as a human being. At this point, several of Diddy's attorneys are also wiping away tears. The judge empathetically said, I know this was difficult for you guys, but I thank you. I needed to hear this. The defense then played a 10-minute video highlighting Diddy as a father, a businessman, a philanthropist. Now, another thing I want to know is right before his family spoke, it was his attorney, Nicole Westmoreland, who was on the podium talking about all his accomplishments, how throughout the years Diddy has gone out of his way to help people, and how that's his purpose and calling. And then Nicole Westmoreland broke down. Through tears, she talked about his ascent through the business world, how he started the Sean John clothing company, and how he's an inspiration to his community. And then through sobs, she said, he inspired me, and talked about an experience in a speech that touched her that he gave a few years ago at an event.
But according to people close to the situation, those statements weren't from the heart. Diddy allegedly forced his kids to say those things. Even during the trial, he used his family as a weapon to help him influence the victims. Prosecutors told the court that Diddy had been contacting the victims directly, and that his family had also reached out to them on his behalf. Because of this constant pressure, several victims backed out of testifying. One of them even sent a letter to the judge claiming Diddy was innocent after being manipulated into believing it.
Sing happy birthday to Daddy.
Say to Daddy, happy birthday to Daddy. Happy birthday. Keep going. Happy
Birthday to
Daddy.
Keep going.
Go. Happy birthday to Daddy.
I love y'all so much.
We love you too.
Love you, Pastor.
I can't wait to see y'all.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see y'all. And I just want to say I'm proud of y'all, especially the girls. I mean, all of y'all, but just for being strong. Thank y'all for being strong, and thank y'all for being by my side and supporting me. I love y'all. I got the best family in the world. My birthday, I'm happy. Thanks to y'all giving me this call. Thank you very much. I love y'all.
Jaguar Wright says none of this surprises her. She saw it coming long before anyone else did. She knew Diddy was calling and intimidating his victims, even from behind bars. Reports say Diddy made over 200 calls every single day while locked up. And let's be real, he wasn't spending that much time chatting with family. Most of those calls were to the very people who had spoken out against him. Some of those those victims even went back to the police to report the harassment, but it didn't stop Diddy. He just kept pushing.
Let me ask you, they looked at Diddy as one, a possible flight risk, but as two, as he could coerce witnesses. With having $75 million at his disposal, isn't that by nature the exact thing that they're worried about? If you have this much money, that you could make this thing, you could probably make people disappear if you really opted to.
See, this is the thing. That'll just make more trouble. Why would he make more trouble now? He done already bought off and paid off everybody he possibly could. Have you looked at the indictment? Like, he called some witnesses up to 54 times.
Yeah, 200 and how many angels? 200 something people. Yeah. He tried to reach out to
Like, what are you running, a telethon or a telemarketing agency? Telemarketers don't make that many calls in one day. Or sometimes not even in a week, all depending on you was on that. You down for Diddy? How does that conversation start? Hey, what's up? You know, I really feel bad about that last time I bashed you in the face with a Ciroc bottle. Were we good?
Right now, Diddy's kids are stuck in a situation they can't seem to escape. Without him, they have no real source of income, and he knows that. He's using that dependence to keep them under his control, turning them into tools to do whatever he wants. The sad part is, they keep agreeing because they've built their whole lives around him, and now he's the only thing they have left.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit up there and judge anybody and what they want to do for their parent or their financial provider. Because I'm sorry, do any of those children have a means for earning a living outside of the Combs enterprise? I don't think so.
I mean, King Combs.
Doing what?
I don't know.
What's he do? Other than post on his dad's timeline and make music videos that I don't know that anybody actually watches. What do they do? What do any of them do?
What does Paris Hilton do, I guess? Hell.
Paris Hilton is a wife and a mother now.
Very
She's not
true.
making SBS tapes anymore.
Very true. Very true.
Ain't none of them married and don't none of them have no kids. So what do they do?
Do they have the ability to speak for the father though, based on jail phone calls saying that he's a changed man?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even care. Really?
It's the same family that once had to walk out of court after hearing the horrific things Diddy did to women. When prosecutors detailed what happened to Cassie and Kim, his daughter reportedly broke down and left the room. Word around is that Delilah, Chance, and Jesse have started pulling away from him completely. And there are even whispers that they're planning to seek legal emancipation so they can finally free themselves from his name for good.
During Phillips' testimony per People magazine, Diddy's three daughters, Chance, Delilah, and Jesse, left the courtroom. One of the occasions was during his testimony from May 12th, where Phillip alleged around 2012 or 2013 he had been given, quote, a few $1,000s to have sex with Cassie while Combs watched. Per NBC News, he told jurors, quote, we ended up having sex, rubbed baby oil on each other for a couple of minutes, while describing Diddy touching himself while watching them. Prosecutors also played in court the hotel security footage from 2016 obtained by CNN, where Diddy is seen assaulting Cassie. While the video was played, according to People, Diddy's daughters and mother remained in the courtroom but did not look at the video, looking straight ahead, while Diddy's sons watched.
Let me tell you, not only because he had left, he was in the back of the court and then he went, I think they took up to like a back room, but the you know, all the Diddy kids are there, right? So his daughters are there. I was sitting behind them. It was awkward for me to watch them have to listen to all of this. After he started, the male Esther started getting into a lot of the masturbation and stuff, they got up and left. Who
told him to leave? Did Diddy say leave or?
No, Diddy didn't tell them to leave. I don't know if there was a conversation or not. I looked up from writing and I saw them get up, so I don't know. But I know that they were like checking on each other throughout. I saw them ask like Christian.
After Diddy's sentencing, his family walked out of the courtroom smiling while Diddy Diddy sat there crying and begging the judge for mercy. The sight left everyone wondering, does this really look like a family that cares what happens to him? Their reactions said it all.
Chaotic scenes as Diddy's family came to court to support him at his sentencing.
How you feeling today, mama?
His mother, Janice, was followed by his son, Quincy, and 3 daughters who entered court hand in hand. Another son and his girlfriend were also there to show their support.
The truth is, Diddy's kids aren't exactly innocent in all this. His sons have been accused of taking part in the same disturbing activities that landed their father in court. If any of these lawsuits go against them, they could face serious time just like Diddy. In April 2024, a woman named Grace Omar K filed a lawsuit against Christian King Combs, accusing him of sexual assault, battery, and emotional distress during one of Diddy's so-called freak-off parties. She said it all happened on Diddy's yacht, where she was working as a stewardess. Grace claims Christian pushed her to drink tequila that she later believed had been spiked with drugs. After losing consciousness, she says she was assaulted by him.
And she was 25 years old at the time. She believed that the trip would be a, quote, wholesome family excursion, but says it, quote, turned into a hedonistic environment, even describing rampant drug use among sex workers and celebrities who came on board. She believes that the alcohol on the yacht had been laced with drugs because she says women would have one drink and then almost immediately pass out or start falling over. This is, by the way, something that was also alleged in Jones's lawsuit, that Combs would spike the drinks of different people. But focusing on Christian Combs, Markey says that Christian Combs had been staying at a villa on the shore, but that he would come onto the yacht in the evening to party. And on December 28, 2022, Christian reportedly arrived very intoxicated and then proceeded to pressure Markey to take shots of tequila. She did. Christian allegedly tried to get her to drink more in the yacht's makeshift studio. Markey alleges that Christian kissed her neck, kissed her face, as he groped her legs, breasts, and private areas.
Even 50 Cent saw this coming and warned everyone. Before Diddy's sentencing, he wrote a letter to the judge talking about how dangerous Diddy really is. He explained their long history of bad blood and admitted he feared what Diddy might do once released. Toward the end of the letter, 50 Cent went even further. He said Diddy's sons were involved in the same kind of crimes and warned that if Diddy ever walked free, they'd all go right back to doing what they'd always done.
Submarinian. Now, he posts this as a text message. I don't know if this was a text message to his lawyer, where maybe he was instructing his lawyer to write this letter to the judge. If you don't know, the judge is accepting letters in the case of the sentencing of Sean P. Diddy Combs, who's set to be sentenced tomorrow. And 50 Cent decided to write his letter to the judge as well. If you don't know, at this point, I think it's abundantly clear that 50 Cent is the baby father of the child that belongs to not only 50, but the woman that is identified as Jane Doe. That woman, I think we now know, is Daphne Joy. So Daphne Joy's baby daddy is 50 Cent. So maybe there's a reason and there's some relevance here for 50 to have somewhat of a letter being sent to the judge. Why? Well, one of the two victims, or the main two victims, which is victim one, we all know is Cassie, but victim two is known as Daphne Joy. Who's Daphne Joy's baby father? 50 Cent. So he writes a letter and he says, "Dear Judge Submarinian, I've had an ongoing dispute with Puffy for over 20 years. He's very dangerous. Multiple times I have feared for my life. I think you should consider the safety of the general public, Your Honor, before unleashing him upon them. There hasn't been enough time for him to reform or make any adjustments, despite his trying to teach a class in there." This is how you know he actually wrote this. This is bad grammar. Despite him trying to teach a class in there. As you're already aware, the government has spent maximum amount of money on deploying federal agencies, which appear to be an army, in 2 locations simultaneously. Later, his sons, who's dealing with his own R-word allegations, claimed that the feds had hit the wrong house. Anyway, Diddy's only going to return to hire more male sex workers and keep most of the baby oil away from the general public, and babies need it. My Netflix doc on this scandalous subject is coming.
Now, Diddy has been transferred to Fort Dix, a low-security prison in New Jersey. Not long after arriving, a photo of him leaked online. It was the first time anyone had seen him since the trial began. The picture showed Diddy walking through the prison yard, looking older, with a white beard that made him almost unrecognizable.
Diddy Combs was transferred to the federal prison in Fort Dix, New Jersey yesterday, where he will start to serve the rest of his 50-month sentence. Combs had been held at a detention center in Brooklyn. He was convicted in July on 2 counts of interstate prostitution. Combs is slated to be released in May of 2028, but could be released earlier for good behavior.
Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal both revealed why Diddy's legal team pushed for Fort Dix. His lawyer told the court it was simply because the facility is close to New York, making it easier for his family to visit. But according to insiders, the real reason is that Fort Dix is a low-security prison with special programs that could help shorten his sentence. It offers something called the RDAP program, an intensive 500-hour, 9-month treatment for substance abuse. If Diddy completes it successfully, he could earn up to a full year off his prison time.
People look at it like this hasn't affected his pockets technically as far as just on the status level.
Affected his pockets. It's just left him. He still got enough to play with.
A lot to play with. I mean,
yeah. For now. They want him to go to New Jersey. They want him to go to Fort Dix, one of the weakest guarded federal penitentiaries in the United States. I know Fort Dix. It's a real nice place to take somebody. So when they finally get to go outside out in the yard, they can just get somebody to come and extract them right up out of there. You can leave and you don't have to worry about ever being held accountable. See, I'm not dumb. I ain't nobody's fool. People like being fooled these days. People like being lied to. They want to believe in the land of make-believe. Diddy said sorry, and now we can all go home and have ice cream.
So he got off like a fat rat in a cheese factory. But for a dude like Diddy going to jail and spending all that time, you know, I'm not saying it's going to be rough or nothing like that, because his former president of Bad Boy, Kirk Burrows, with the federal jail. You understand? Lil' Kim with the federal jail. So, you know, because the type of dude he is, you know, he'll make it, he'll be all right. And plus they gonna send him to a camp, bruh. He'll be in somebody camp or somebody dormitory, whereas that it'll be real light for him. So, you know, he'll see the streets back again in 24 months. He'll be out within 2 years. It seems like a lot saying 50 months and everything like that, but it's not really a lot, not at all, bruh. It's not a lot at all.
Since the sentencing, Jaguar Wright hasn't stopped speaking out. She keeps saying this story is far from over. There are more victims who still haven't had their chance to be heard. Outside the courthouse, she told reporters that Diddy isn't the only one. She claims the entire industry is filled with powerful people hiding behind money and fame, and they all need to be exposed and held accountable.
That happened in the R. Kelly case, because if that had been properly addressed, this would have been addressed back then. These people have been working together, all in cahoots for all of this time, and it needs to all be addressed. I'm glad it's not just me anymore. I'm glad it's someone else. I'm glad there are other people who need to be heard. I'll be sure. I'm glad they're hearing him, Cassie. I'm glad they're hearing her, Kim Porter, through I'll Be Sure. I'm glad. Natanya Rubin, I'm glad. All of these things. So yeah, it's mixed emotions, but I just know when you pray for something and God answers it, you should be happy.
Diddy spoke to the judge before sentencing, and it sounded like he was taking accountability.
Accountability for what?
Same kind of accountability he took after he told everybody Cassie was lying on him, and then he got popped on my birthday when the video came out on CNN. And then he had to come back and do the whack-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah, I guess accountability for what he got caught for.
How does now nobody not see the apology he gave for Cassie after he called her a liar for months and said that it wasn't true, she was making it all up? How does nobody not see that they're the same apology? How does nobody not see that what he just did in that courtroom was no different than the monologue that was in Blink Twice?
No, man.
It's the monologue.
Does it account for anything, though, that he started to feel sorry for his actions?
Sorry for his actions?
He's been sitting in NBC for you.
Actually sorry. Do you think he would have allowed his legal team to destroy those women like that on that stand? See, you sat there and you let your legal team rip those people to shreds while they were barely being protected by the feds.
Even though Diddy's punishment was lighter than many expected, his lawyers have already said they're filing an appeal. Diddy truly believed he'd walk out on probation. So when the judge gave him 4 years, it shocked him. To him, that feels like forever. Even after spending more than 2 decades committing crimes, he still refuses to accept any time behind bars.
Diddy, we are hearing Diddy's attorneys speaking to the media after he was sentenced earlier today. This is live.
So yeah, we are planning to appeal.
I want to hear them, bro.
We are planning to appeal. We think we have strong bases to appeal. The strongest basis is that the jury reached a verdict on coercion. It found there was not coercion, and I think the judge said coercion today as a basis for a sentence at least a dozen times. We think that is unconstitutional. We think that a jury verdict should mean more than our jury's verdict seems to mean, and so we are planning to appeal.
If they filed a cross appeal, what would happen in that regard if they filed a cross appeal and then Sean Diddy Combs get a higher sentence?
He would not get a higher sentence, and they're not gonna cross appeal. We're gonna appeal. We think we're right, and they'll respond to the appeal, and it'll be decided by the Second Circuit as soon as.
Tell us about the conversation you had with your client after the sentencing.
Consensual. The judge clearly thought the sexual encounters weren't consensual. What did you make of his remarks?
He's biased. I'm happy to go. So we think that's just absolutely inconsistent with the jury's verdict. I mean, the jury's verdict was resoundingly clear. There was no sex trafficking. There was no racketeering. Everything was consensual. Everything was adult, which is why he was convicted only of the prostitution offense. What we feel happened today was that the judge acted as a 13th juror, one that we did not choose, and that he second-guessed the jury's verdict.
Well, at least the judge was open. But prison hasn't been easy for him. Reports say Diddy's already been attacked twice by 2 different inmates. The officers had to step in after one of them allegedly tried to stab him in his sleep. According to what's been said, Diddy woke up with a knife at his throat and would have been killed if a guard hadn't intervened just in time. It's the second attack he's faced, proving that prison life is a whole different kind of danger for him.
Had something very scary happen to him. One of his close friends is speaking out and saying that while he was sleeping at the MDC Brooklyn jail, somebody came and put a knife, pressed it to his throat. Now, as I keep digging into the story, they're saying yes, a correctional officer or a police officer was the one who came and basically helped him out and quote unquote saved him. Yes. And so, obviously Diddy's lawyers are trying to use this as a way to just get him even moved to a different location. But right now, everything is kind of staying as is.
Yeah, his safety being an issue when he's supposed to be, I think in some sort of protected environment. Remember MDC? Isn't that where the Epstein situation happened?
No, isn't Diddy?
I thought Diddy's in Brooklyn and Epstein was across the street from Hot 97, the old building.
The lawyers, when they were speaking on Diddy being in prison and the circumstances him being in prison, I didn't never hear about this, and nobody ever said anything about this. And I want to know if it's in the prison records. They said one of the guards stopped a dude from shanking Diddy. Now, I'm like, if he was doing all this positive in jail, and they was talking about he was all the inmates loved him and they was employing him and doing standing ovation. I wonder what inmate was trying to shake him. Was that one of the Tupac? Was that one of the Tupac fans, or that was one of Biggie fans? Because they said that the guard. They said that in court. One of the lawyers, one of the guards, stopped one of the individuals that was trying to shank him, bruh. And that was crazy. Nobody, I never, that didn't leak. Everything leaks from prison, but that didn't leak. Nobody wrote home and say, yo, dudes is in here trying to stab Diddy up. But the lawyers mentioned that today. I want to see if they're going to investigate that right there. You know what I'm saying? And base that, or he probably used that, base that on trying to help Diddy getting into one of those camps or one of those programs that, you know, he ain't got to worry about nothing.
Now, it's not just about his safety from others. People close to him fear Diddy might be a danger to himself too. Being locked up takes a serious toll. And Gene Deal has said he doesn't think Diddy is mentally strong enough to handle prison life. If things get worse, there's a real concern he could end up doing something to himself. The deeper this story goes, the darker it gets. And if Jaguar Wright is right, there's still so much more waiting to come out. This story's just getting started, so hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay with me on Taylor Tells All for the real Hollywood truth.